Last week was absolutely insane. I had my largest single day gain ever in the 12 years I've been a trader and investor on the Tesla earnings.
I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah, this all God, this ain't no lie. Yeah.
As many of you know, Tesla is my largest position. But before we continue talking about that, let's also talk about a few updates for NBT. As you can see, hey, we did a slight change on the webcam. We did a slight change with the thumbnails. The thumbnails will always look like this now, making everything very professional, very nice. I want to let you know that we're also going to be live streaming our trading for the first hour of the market open every single day. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, you click the alert bell so you don't miss those. And that's going to be advertising for what the experience is like to be a full-time member of the Discord and hang out with us all day as we're trading. We've also opened up the Discord to the public, so if you want to join the Discord, kind of get a preview of what it's like, you can also click the link down below. It is free to join. We've had it private for a very long time. We're kind of opening it up. So let's talk about Tesla. I had lotto calls into Tesla earnings, but on my long-term account with my huge share position, which is a sizable amount of my total net worth, it's 50% of my long-term investment, I did have to buy some puts because Tesla was at that very key 212 level. We saw that level get tested. It actually had a slight breakdown, then it defended, but it was still really spooky in the earnings. Then Tesla had an absolute blowout earnings to the point that all the money I lost on my hedges, I didn't even feel it. It blew right through all the levels I wanted. My lotto calls ended up going up 500%. And then the night before, I also shared in the Discord on one of our reports that we should look for some lotto setups on there, some 265 lottos. Those paid out another 100% there. So it was a really just beautiful setup on Tesla. We had the adjusted EPS up. Revenue was slightly down, but what was more important is that operating income ended up beating by almost $1 billion. We had free cash flow up by over $1 billion, and we had an increase on gross margins, which was definitely not the expectation. And they also guided up for growth in vehicle deliveries. And if you've watched my video in the past where I've been calling that, hey, I think Tesla has the most upside potential out of all the big tech companies, it's not even close. The vehicle deliveries and the things going on with EVs are not even what excites me about this company, okay? So we had a pretty catastrophic meltdown after the robotaxi event. Right after that event came out, if you follow me on the socials, I was telling everyone, be patient, okay? I did not sell anything. I said, be patient, be patient, be patient. If you've been following me for a while, I have a 160 average on Tesla. I made a video as well when Tesla was down in the dumps. I am not going to follow the hive mind off the cliff. I'm going to buy the whole cliff and see you on the other side. And I told people, like, this is where I'm going to load up when everyone's scared of Tesla. There's nothing with more upside. So my convictions here have really pulled out, and this stock single-handedly led to one of my biggest single-day gains, the biggest single-day gain in my 12 years of trading and investing. And I think it's got more to deliver in the short term and in the very long term. However, in the medium term, there are some risks that we need to talk about. So in the short term, if we do get an extension of this big breakout, I want to buy some calls over 271, and I want to buy like the 280s and see if we get a further extension. Maybe this wants to rally all the way to 300 before the elections, or maybe some of the market volatility and some of the warning signs we've been seeing in the market could kind of take over some of the factors going on here. The interesting thing last week was when Tesla announced earnings, it looked like QQQ actually wanted to melt down, right? We had the huge meltdown. We had a slight retracement. It looked like we were going to get an extension, maybe something like a bear flag until the next day. And then Tesla had earnings, basically carried the whole market, and literally nothing was going up with Tesla. It held the entire market. I think it gained over 200 million in a single day, or maybe that was over the 2 days. Either way, that was quite a substantial rally that got the whole market excited. And so that is highly unusual. And you'd have to be worried about if that can actually be sustainable when it comes to the fact that the market's clearly being carried by this, and then it got sold off on Friday. And so the thing that you need to use as your warning sign is TLT. Okay. And this could be several different things. So let's break down, like, the market is clearly pricing in a Trump victory, right? But I think it's actually overpricing in the chances of a Trump victory. So if we look at betting markets, we can see that Trump is favored almost 70% as opposed to Kamala. And I think that could be concerning for the way the market is positioned right now, because we've even seen news that the betting markets are very skewed because of a few big bettors that are betting on a Trump victory. A lot of them are even like foreign bettors that are skewing the market. There's probably some arbitrage opportunities there. But we're talking about the stock market right now. And for what I'm looking at, the stock market is the market's telling you that it favors Trump for economics. Okay. It favors him for growth and in a few key sectors that are kind of being thrown around within the financial spaces, like the Trump trade names. Okay. I'm not really going to break those down because it's not really relevant to me, because I actually think that this is actually a symptom of a lot of mispricings. And I am looking at the fear, though, with the economic growth also being the fear that inflation will come back, which means that there's an anticipation that we won't get the amount of rate cuts that the market is expecting post-election. We could see that in the price action of TLT as we come and test this year-long support that we have. If we get a break through the support, a break under 92, it could set up an environment where you're selling off in bonds and then you're selling off in equities in tandem, which is the market telling you that there's no safe haven. And that's an environment where, you know, the persistently high VIX that we already have could spike even higher, and you can get some wild moves out of this market. I'm not saying that it's for sure going to happen, but I'm saying it could happen. It could happen this upcoming week. It could happen in 2 weeks. It could not happen until the beginning of 2025, but it is a risk that's on the table and something you must pay attention to right now. And now let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a really interesting setup right now, and I kind of wonder if we're going to see a disconnect from the market or if this is a bit of a fake out. It's really hard to tell right now, and I want to see it over 70K. But if we do get the move, Coinbase is going to be very viable. Okay, if you get Coinbase over 213, it could make a move all the way to 230. It could go much higher depending on how big the move is over Bitcoin. But I think right now on your watch lists, you're going to want to have some sort of Bitcoin related name. I do have lots of long calls, some all the way out till 2027 in Bitcoin related names, because I do want to capture whatever move comes for Bitcoin. It's just something you got to have on your radar. We do have the breakout here on the 4-hour chart, right? Clearly breaking out, kind of testing this level, trying to create some support here and get a bigger move. But we're seeing that the market's kind of tampering that down a bit. And so we do have on the shorter time frame this sort of like wedge developing right here. So we should get very soon a confirmation to the upside or to the downside. Maybe this wedge even looks something like this right there. So we do have this kind of setting up right here, and I want to see where we get the break. If we get the break over 70, it can go absolutely parabolic. It can hit all-time new highs, and that could cause Bitcoin-related stocks to go absolutely nuts. There is an opportunity to trade MSTR as well. For long-term sake, I don't really like this company, and I especially don't like it into earnings. So that's why it's not going to make the watch list this week. I think the market's a little too excited about this. When I look at social media, I see people taking out mortgages on their homes to buy more MSTR at the all-time high. Absolutely ludicrous. And it's a huge warning sign that this is probably near a top. And now let's do some analysis of EKTX. This was a great trade on Friday, almost a great trade on Thursday. We got this nice big move, but the options market here can be really rough, especially for longer term contracts. I am a shareholder here as well, and I'm looking for an extension, a bigger breakout here. If you do get the move over 81.05, you can get a really nice move to the 90s. We have several catalysts coming up for this company. It's in the weight loss sector. There's new oil product coming out. We want to see the efficacy of that. We also want to see the side effects or what you want to focus on. I think there's a great argument to be made that it's going to be one of the better products on the market, and it definitely snags some market share from Eli Lilly. And in that potentiality, this is a very undervalued company. However, it is in the pharmaceutical industry. It could be very volatile, and be aware of that. You want ample confirmation, and be aware that on catalysts for the pharmaceutical industry, you can have massive moves. So make sure you're allocating risk appropriately when you're playing names like this, but I really like this setup. It was a really great trade on Friday, over I think 400% on some Friday lottos here, and I actually did swing some weeklies as well, so I have a very minor position with a portion of the profits that I swung into this week, and I'll be keeping an eye on it. And that is going to be it for this weekly report. I hope you enjoyed. I guess I should mention that the SPY play is obviously just if we do get the TLT break. Okay, if we do see the greater downside from the market, you don't necessarily need TLT to actually break those levels to get the drawdown from SPY. So it can also just serve as a nice hedge or outcome if the market is overall bearish, which I would be almost inclined to say I have a bearish bias heading into this week. That'll be it. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned lots. Make sure you check out the links down below, and God bless.